Okay, this is a half hitch. Say my piece is coming down and I want to attach a rod to it. I put my lower cords over the rod and I pull that cord through the part that I threw over the rod. That's a half hitch. It doesn't really hold anything. Some patterns call for vertical half hitches, alternating, and I never tried that one because it didn't look appealing. But some patterns may call for it. So I'll do it again. I have my rod and my project cord. I put my cord over it, and then as I'm bringing it around the back side of the rod, I pull to the left. And that's a half hitch. Now the next one is called a double half hitch. So I have my cord like this. It's coming down, and I take the end of my cord, put it over the rod, pull it to the right, and then put the cord back over and pull it to the left. And that's a double half hitch. So you're making two instead of just one. Now there's another one called a triple half hitch. And again, my project's coming down. I put my rod in. I go over and through on the right, like we did before on the double. Yeah. That's not right. The triple half hitch is I have my project cord coming down. I put the tail end over, and as I pull under, I pull to the left with the tail. Okay, and then I pull, throw the cord over, pull through on towards the right, and then I pull or throw my cord over, and I pull in to the left. And that is a triple half hitch. So another way you can add cord to a rod or a ring is you take a length and you find the center of it. In the center, you can go either over or under, and you put your ends through that loop and you pull tight. That's a lark's head. So I'll show you again. I take a length of cord, I find the center like this, I stick this, I do it under, doesn't matter if it's over or under, through the loop and pull my ends, and that's another lark's head. Now another one, a fancy lark's head, is called the novel. The novel is putting a half hitch on each outside. So I'm going to come over the top and I'm going to pull into the left, and I'm going to come over the top, I'm going to pull into the right. And that's a novel. And here's what the backside looks like for the novel. Backside for the lark's head is that, and that's the novel. So we'll do another novel, starting with the lark's head. I find my ends, I get my center, and then I stick my cord through the hole, through the loop. Okay, that's the lark's head. And the novel is, you pull in, you go over the top and you pull to the right, or sorry, pull to the left for the right side. And then you go over and you pull to the right on the left side. And that's another novel. So I got 2 novels and a lark's head. This knot is called the nubbin. You go a half knot right behind the filler cords on top of the left knotter in front of the fillers behind the right knotter. And you don't take it up. It depends on where you're putting it. Now for the filler cords, you tie an overhand. Remember to pull your tails through and you tighten it like that. Now I didn't go up high enough, so I have to bring my half knot down. So I'm going to do the other side of the half knot, which would be left goes under the fillers on top of the right, right goes on top of the fillers behind the left, and then you tighten it. So you have this knot between 2 half knots. Well, it's a square knot with a knot in the middle, like that. So you have that. Now, that looks okay, but it's not fantastic and it's a little awkward to do. I have a small set of square knots here. I've got 3 of them, but I want to put a button in. I would put in a nubbin, but I feel that the buttons are a lot easier to do than the nubbins. So I'm going to make 3 square knots, but I'm going to come down, I'm going to leave a space of about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Make my 3 square knots. That's 2. And this is 3. I count 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now the next part is I have an opening in my my filler cords at the top. I'm going to take my lower filler cords and stick them through the hole in the upper filler cords all the way down. And as I pull back down towards the floor or your chest, you pinch the 3 square knots down, and then you do a square knot again. The half knot will, it's hard to do. You have to pull the filler cords while you're pulling the half knot up. Then you make the other end or other side for the square knot, and it goes behind those knots. And you can see the square knot here that you just made. So these are all square knots here. We'll do another one. You leave a space and you make 3 square knots. That's 2. 3. Okay, with the fillers opened at the top, stick your lower fillers through that hole, and you pull the ends down towards your body. And as you do, you pinch those square knots. down like that, and then you make a square knot. As you're making the first one, you have to pull on the filler cords while you're tightening your square knot. And there you have 2 buttons. The next knot is a cluster. What you do is you make a square knot. Right goes behind the fillers on top of the left. Left goes across the top of the fillers behind the right. And then the left goes behind the fillers on top of the right. Right goes in front of the fillers on behind the left. So then you have your square knot. Now what you do is you make an overhand knot with your knotter cords. And you push that one up to the base of your last square knot. As best you can. So you have that. Now you make another square knot. And that is a cluster. The next knot is called what I call a faux knot. No, that's not right. The next knot is what I like to call a fake bead. So I have a cluster, I'm just going to leave that there. I need to make a square knot. Fix that a little bit there. Okay. And then with my filler cords, I'm going to make an overhand, but I'm not going to push it all the way up to the square knot. I'm going to bring it down a little bit out there, and then I'm going to make another square knot, and I'm going to make the second square knot down from about the same distance from here to here as here to here, and that looks like it's a bead that's sitting there. Even though I don't have a bead available, I've got a fake bead. Okay, this is a decorative knot known as a Picot. It has to do with square knots. So I make a square knot. And then I'm going to make another square knot, but I'm not going to come all the way up. Okay, I have this big gap here. I'm going to hold my filler cords with one hand, and I'm going to grasp the bottom square knot, and I'm going to push the bottom square knot up. And that makes a Picot. So then maybe I want a bigger one there next. So I make a square knot here. Okay. Again, I hold the filler cords and I grasp the square knot and I push up. And there I have 2 Picots. And then you can just go ahead and do how many you want. If you feel like it, you could stick a bead in there, and as you push up, you have a bead in there. So I've been making a lot of knots now, and my knotter cords are significantly shorter than my filler cords. So this is what why I'm using 4 cords instead of 3 cords. Because I have 2 filler cords, I can use my filler cords as my new knotter cords. And I bring my old knotter cords in and I make a square knot with my filler cords like this. Once I have the first one, then I just go right on back to making the other half of the square knot. So I changed my knotter cords are now my filler cords, and my filler cords are now my knotter cords. So I can carry on until my new knotter cords are the same length as my old knotter cords.